Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this latest narration in the web series The Princess and the Human. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Book 1, Chapter 16. Just a Nightmare. As Cathay entered Nadine's chambers in the late morning, she was accompanied by 2 servants, each of them pushing a tray with food into the room, before taking a bow and leaving. First meal, the doctor said in a weak attempt at a joke. She then realized that the room was seemingly empty. Nadine was either in a bed nor not at a desk. Also, the wardrobe was open for some reason, even though there was nothing in it. After a few steps into the room, Cathay finally spotted her. The small alien was lying on the ground. No, that was not how it looked at first. In reality, she was holding her body in a straight line, using one hand to repeatedly push herself upwards while the other was rested on her back. "What are you doing? Training? Is that light exercise you mentioned?" "No, this is heavier stuff," she said without pausing. She gave herself a stronger push so that she was now at a 45-degree angle, and switched positions of her hands, and then continued the exercise with the other. "I'm used to a stronger gravity. If I don't do this, then my muscles will deteriorate. It is also a good distraction from it's nothing important." The remark made the doctor listen up. "Distraction from what? Nothing, it's fine. But why would you—" "I said it's fine." The doctor took a step back, startled by the sudden outcry. Nadine's voice, even though it had been soft as always, had just gotten loud, way louder than she'd ever expected this meek voice to ever become. The room fell silent. Only a moment later, Nadine's eyes sprung wide upon realization, and she scrambled to her feet. I'm sorry, I didn't want to, I didn't mean to, I just didn't sleep well, and no, that's not an excuse. I'm so sorry, It's fine," Cathay reassured her as soon as she pulled herself together. "No harm was done. Let's just get at the taste testing. I also brought some of the Guthra fruits you seemed to like yesterday, just in case none of this other stuff makes a proper first meal." The corners of her mouth moved slightly up. Apparently, this so-called smile was a gesture that could mean a load of things depending on the context, but it usually stood for either friendliness or joy. It was one of many, many expressions that the alien girl's face was capable of. Sure, there were endoskeleton races in the Alliance, but none of them were able to move their faces that much. Just how many muscles does a face have? Not to mention the color changes. "You know," Nadine's soft voice pulled her out of her thoughts, "it's kind of interesting that the translator calls it first meal, even though it is not exactly what my people would call first meal." The doctor cocked her head. "What else would they refer to? First meal simply is the first meal of the day. I mean, it's literally those 2 words together." One of Nadine's eyes seemed to close slightly, while the other opened further, before both opening all the way. "Oh, so that's what you hear when I say—" She took off the translator and said the word Cathay couldn't pronounce. "The word in my language doesn't actually mean first meal. Anyway, when I was getting it, my people usually eat first meal right after getting up, not multiple hours, invers into the day." "Really? Isn't that a very long pause until the last meal? We eat 3 times per day, so no. If you need more food more frequently, you can just say so. Nah, don't sweat it. What is sweat supposed to mean? It is not that I need it in that frequency. We just do that because it fits our daily routine. There are also people who skip first meal. Also, that meat stuff's quite a bit. Anyway, did you get some of those tikros? Tikri? The plural is also tikro, though I have no idea why you're so excited about those. Well, it's cattle feed, right? Yes, especially Onrics love it. Why? Well, that means it's probably higher nutrients. Sure, they might need other things, but worth a try." Cathay pointed to one of the platters and took the lid off. "If you want, I can give you a list of everything contained in tikra. Here, the ones on the right are raw, left boiled, and just as you wanted. Just be careful, the raw ones are quite—" With a loud crunching sound, half of the tube had disappeared in the small alien's mouth. "Hard. How strong is your jaw?" Not sure. I think it was about 80 kilograms, so, right. Oh, right, we forgot to weigh me." The small alien held out her hand in front of her mouth and spit a piece of she bit off back into the plate. "Tastes like dry flowers. Ugh. So yeah, don't know how much that is in your units, but it's at least 700 Vs." Before Cathay could comment on that, Nadine proceeded to take a boiled one. It had soaked quite a bit of the water and was now bigger and a bit squishy. Taking a bite caused some of the water to get squeezed out and drip down her chin, But Nadine didn't keep that in her mouth for long either. Ugh! How in the hell can something be both moist and yet still taste like dry flour? The rest of the taste testing didn't go too bad. Nadine could eat around 1/4 of the things prepared this time. However, Githey had one more thing for her. This powder contains sodium chloride, potassium, and the like. If you mix it with a bit of our normal tap water, you should be able to cover a couple of your necessities. Wow, thanks, Doc, that. But remember, this stuff is toxic to us, so be careful. Don't worry, I'll be careful. A knock on the door interrupted them. I have a package for Lady Nadine, one of the maids said upon entering. Together with the message, I tried to finish the first set as quickly as possible. The rest will take a bit longer. With a bow, she planted the small box on the desk and left. After the door closed behind her, it only took Nadine a few moments to practically rip it open. The first thing she took out was a strange small wooden plate with leather straps on it. Would you look at that? Those are actually proper sandals, and the rest are... What fabric is that? Feels amazing. Probably gown silk, one of the highest quality materials you can find on Homne, Githey explained. Okay, the baby blue thing is a top, and the mint green looks like a skirt. Let's see. Nadine jumped off her chair, ducked behind her bed, threw away her blanket, and put on her new clothes. The baby blue top covered her upper torso in a slightly triangular shape, while leaving the shoulders free. The mint green skirt was fairly long, as it almost reached her knees, and was held in place by a thin belt with 3 blue gems and a buckle. The sandals were apparently a kind of shoe. When she finished dressing, Nadine's pale face became a bit more reddish. Wow, Githey marveled. You really look like a proper noble lady now. Was that how parents felt when they saw their kids in clothes for the first time? Maybe finding out Nadine's relative age had awoken some motherly instincts in her. After all, at 16 cycles, she was already fairly old for an unpartnered noble woman. You sure? Nadine asked, not sounding very convinced. Do you not like it? No. It looks great. It's just a bit skimpy. I mean, it fits the warm climate, but it's more something a human would wear to the beach party rather than a noble's estate. Also, I'm not really used to having my midriff exposed. Really? To me, you look ready to be greeted by the king himself. Nadine's face became even redder. Well, when in Rome, I'm sure I'll get used to it. Definitely better than running around in bedsheets. Githey took a deep breath. There was no point in postponing it. She needed to talk about things Kyrotin had discovered, even if it was to confirm they were normal for her kind. By the way, I never asked you about your sleeping habits. Sleeping habits? Yes. To confirm your needs are covered. Kesrelnef, for example, need fairly large beds because they move a lot during their sleep. That was a lie. No species she knew of moved in their sleep. Do humans move as well? Not really. Some do a bit when they dream or have a nightmare. The doctor cocked her head. Dream? What's that? Wait, seriously? You guys don't dream, it's how do I explain that? When we sleep, our brain processes the information it gathered. During that time, we see things. Sometimes lucid, sometimes weird, sometimes complete bullshit. So, a hallucination? Not really. Or is it? Now that you ask, I wonder if it's similar. And that happens every night? Yes. Although most of the time you forget the moment you wake up. Githey nodded in fascination. Was her thrashing around because of a dream? And the other thing you mentioned, nightmare. That is a bad dream. Imagine your worst fears coming true, and you are right in the middle of it. Your heart is pounding so loud that it feels like you're alarming the whole world of your presence. You try to hide, but you always get found out immediately. You try to fight, but your arms are so weak you can't lift them. You try to flee, but your legs are so heavy you can barely move forward. You scream for help, but all you can muster is a faint whisper. And when it seems as if everything is too late, you wake up. But you're not fully awake yet, and you can still see the horrors in the darkness of your room. You don't know what is real and what isn't. Slowly, everything calms down, and the dream starts to slip your mind. You can't remember exactly what you've seen. All you remember is the fear and despair you felt. You are exhausted. You want to sleep, but you dread what you'll see when you close your eyes again. With her head jolting, Nadine snapped out of the trance that she had seemingly talked herself into. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I'll take a walk. I need some air. With that, the small alien left the room. Githey said nothing. Even if she had wanted to say something, she wouldn't have been able to. She just sat there, not moving a single muscle. She was a doctor. Throughout her career, she'd seen a lot of gruesome and horrible things. Never in her life could she have imagined that one day mere words would make her freeze in fear. End of chapter. I'd quickly like to thank the T5 peeps: Cold War Boomerwaffen, Severin Cerberus, Bushmaster 177, HenryTheRed, Casper Arnholtz, Cold War Boomerwaffen, Elijah Silvercross, Dragzoon W.R.E, and Severin Cerberus. Thank you very much.